Real Talk with Mo. Glad you could join me. I'm gonna start doing. I was, going through my videos. I'm gonna do a lot more reaction videos, just because the topics that are on here are some of the topics I think I have input on. And I just want to engage in what's going on in social media and some of the things that I think are not being told, and some of it not coming from a real person. Right? It's a lot of people selling stuff and trying to get people involved in certain things, and I think we need a more real approach from people that are actually, I don't have any agenda. I don't have any agenda. Like I don't care if you listen to me or you don't listen to me. I just want to give something real to the people, and that's kind of my thing. So Real Talk with Mo, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. www.cblifestyle and apparel is the wear. And it's cut from a different cloth as this one. This one is a video from Just Pearly Things. I like her a lot. She's very, I'm against. I was gonna do a video about the red pill. Yeah, there's a lot of red pill stuff that this is one of them. That I want to talk about, but there's a lot of this stuff, man. I get some of it, I understand it. I appreciated Kevin Samuels. Then he has a lot of offspring, right? A lot of people that try to get that same type of engagement, and a lot of this stuff that they saying is kind of silly. It's people that don't have any experience in a lot of the different situations, right? They haven't been married, they don't have kids, right? They barely in the dating game, right? They're kind of new to everything, and I think they don't have a good perspective to be able to teach the young people, right? I think experience is the main thing. I said this before in another video about, I don't think people should be able to vote till they're at least 30. Just to be honest with you, just because you haven't learned, you don't have no learned experience. It's different to talk about it, it's different to learn about it, it's different to read a book about it, it's different to live through it. So, I want to talk about this one. This one's Just Pearly Things. You go subscribe, share to that. Subscribe, comment on that one. She does a lot of great videos if you're into that. Men Today versus Men in the 50s. I don't know who these two gentlemen are, or these three gentlemen, and she always has a few ladies on here. But the one guy reminds me of like a Andrew Tate type of guy. But I don't know. I'm not, to me, I'm not gonna really talk about him. We're gonna talk about what he's talking about, and then we'll get into it. So let's listen to a little bit of it and see.
And I'm sure he's an amazing man. But every time you said he doesn't drink, he doesn't cheat, you said he's such a wonderful person. I would argue that if I'm honest enough to tell the truth, and I support the other half, and I kill myself trying to make her life wonderful, then I also am an amazing person.
Yeah, I didn't say you weren't a good.
See, like that comment there, there's no reason for it, right? Nobody say you're not an amazing person. I'm pretty sure, and this is the thing. Just because I say, this and that I'm calling you this and that. Like, there's two things that could be correct at one time, right? Like, her dad could be an amazing person. You could think you're an amazing person. Somebody would have to actually say that you're an amazing person, right? You saying it is different than somebody saying it for you, right? She's saying it for her dad, knowing about her dad. You're saying it for yourself, right? Again, like, this is kind of that red pill thing, but we'll go.
No, I'm just saying, because of contrast's sake. I'm not upset about it at all.
Okay.
Look, I get called a piece of shit all the time. So, no, it's fine.
By me.
But, yeah, yeehaw. But what I am saying is, like, being a good person and being monogamous are two different things.
Yep.
Your father and Rollo Tomasi and Donovan Sharp are a product of a zeitgeist that is about, let's say, 20, 30 years back. And
see, this is where I said the red pill thing is a little, like, I believe in monogamy. I think, once you get married, and this is, again, when we're going away from the Bible, we're going away from, where you take, most of the time, people take their vows, right? You take it in front of God, right? So this whole thing with, he's going to get into that too, I think, but, monogamy is part of it, right? That's someone that you're disciplined, that you can commit to one person, that like you nothing like distracts you from that. Just like if it was your goal to become a millionaire, right? You're not distracted from that goal, and that's how you reach the goal, right? It's something with some of these red pill people that is like, the stuff you saying is not gonna, is what the reason why we're in the place we're in now, right? The way the world is, the way the kids are being raised, and that's kind of how we're getting into this place, is because you don't want to be responsible or held accountable for your actions. You want to kind of glaze over them.
That's where everybody came up and believed and lived and died by the sword of the Bible, mostly, that monogamy was the only way. If your father, being a one percenter, or Rolo, or Donovan, were 35 now, here now in 2022 with Instagram and women blowing their phone up all day, I argue that the likelihood of them being monogamous for 25, 30 years is substantially less, not because they're weaker, not because of anything other than each generation faces a new set of problems.
See? And he puts in there they're weaker. I mean, not they're weaker, but he's saying that, bro, that's not true, man. If you don't want to, listen, I've been married for 14 years, right? If you don't want to go out and sleep with another woman, don't put yourself in a position to go do that, and just don't go do it. I don't understand. And it's discipline thing that we always talk about. But the way you're teaching it, the way he's explaining it is that it's just a different atmosphere. So they might, they'll be more susceptible to that. If they was making money and they was around people, they had women throwing it to them too. Just because some women DMs you doesn't mean you gotta respond to her or you gotta go back and respond. It takes more than just a response on Instagram or social media for you to get in bed with.
And those gentlemen, including your father, in respect, don't or never did have to face the problems that, let's say, the gentlemen of today have to face when it comes to temptation against the natural nature of biology as a human being.
I also think it's, again, as I've said, the situations you choose to put yourself in.
Agreed.
So, again.
Agreed. Situations, listen, we have rules in there's rules, there's stuff that I just don't do, right? Like, I'll tell you, for instance, men nowadays, right? Dominican Republic, right? If you go to Dominican Republic with your guys, the atmosphere out there is what you think it is, right? Brazil, another one of those places, right? So, like, don't put yourself in a position, why, going out to the club, like, unless that's your business, right? Or being around a certain type of environment, right? If you're in rap, right? You rap or something, or you around athlete, you're around these people that you get involved in stuff. You just don't be around it. There's plenty of men that go around, do things, and this is what I'm saying. This is when you do this, all you do is just, the men that actually go out and do it every day, all you do is just pull them down with you, right? Because, like, then you're telling women that, men were gonna cheat, like, they, especially high value men and this and that, they got options and all that shit. The same way Fresh and Fit does the same bullshit and all that shit. Listen, it's not true, is what I'm saying. So when you do that, all you do is just open up the floodgates for, to pull everybody in with you when it's not true. That's you, and if that's how you want to live and you think that's okay, if you want to live in an open relationship with your girl and she's okay with you going out, then that's fine. I have no problem with that. But don't try to lower everybody else because, people are at a certain level of where they have discipline and they're not just going to go out and just, have sex with everything.
In the year you're born and the culture?
No, but
because you're not relevant if you're not on social media right now.
You're not relevant.
Yeah, like in business, if you're trying to like build yourself up in business, LinkedIn, Facebook, like a lot of our business card is on our Instagram. How people perceive us, treat us, and allow us to have opportunity in the market.
Yeah, but you have to understand, this is a very different industry than what my dad does. He's fine without social media.
I get metal building deals because of Instagram.
Okay.
See, he's like, and this is what Redpilled is. It's like narcissism, bro. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares you get metal deals. I don't know what your point is with that. I get it. Instagram is the wave. Like, people go on Instagram, you can sell shit, that shit being sold. I do advertising on Instagram. I get all that. What does that have to do with you going after another woman, pursuing another woman, sleeping with another woman? It has nothing to do with it. You're not making any sense.
I'm just saying, like, your dad, yeah, he sounds like a superhero because even he is 1% from his time. Right? But I think it's important that somebody watching this understands the distinction, respectfully, distinction between what your father chose to do with his life and being a good person.
Well, when I hear that someone chooses to be loyal, like to be enter into a monogamous relationship with the woman that gave him 7 biological kids, 3 adopted, and chooses to be monogamous, I just have a different level of respect for it.
I do too. I think that's amazing. I only knew of one other person, and I'm not gonna say a name, but it was growing up, and this man had, I want to say 6 or 7 kids, maybe 6 kids, and they all turned out to be good, upstanding people, man, boys and girls. And I always praise him. I don't know how the relationship was with his wife, but I think he's still with his wife. Everything is still good. He raised some great kids, and that's just something that you look up forward to, especially when you become a father. He's not a dad, right? I've part of the video I've seen. He's not a dad. He's not married. I mean, he's not married. He doesn't have kids. So when you get to that level, me facing my son every day, right, knowing I just sat with some other lady, right, in bed, did some wild shit with her, and then coming home, talking to my son, sitting down with him, playing with him, and doing all sorts of things, is like, I don't know, I just can't do it. Like, it feels, it's gonna, it's not, it's hard to explain. It just doesn't feel right to me, right? It's like one of those things where you're like, man, like I'm living a lie, like I'm out here doing this and this and this, and then I'm coming home and telling my son, that his mom is this, and I'm, what I mean? It's like you living a lie. It's like real phony.
Than someone that chooses to exercise their options.
Do you understand that most monogamous men are not loyal? Let me tell you why. Go ahead.
I can't wait to hear this logic.
Evidence doesn't really support that if you take surveys, but I think usually the red pill is like they're just lying.
But let's talk about loyalty though.
Okay.
Because most men that get married use marriage and monogamy as a mating strategy to get that woman. Okay, so he's trading sexual exclusivity and marriage for sex, but he makes vows that he's going to do his best to create the most wonderful life he can for that woman.
That's not a vow in the marriage. See, that's what I'm saying. When you start making up your own vows and you're not doing it in front of God, there's no vow that I'm gonna do all these things that he's gonna be talking about.
They exchange vows, and in my opinion, a man's loyalty is keeping that second part. When most men don't, they come home, they pop open a beer, they smoke a bowl of weed, they watch a ball game, they turn on an Xbox,
Okay, go ahead.
As they do that, they do not produce and provide for their woman. And I would argue that is the most unloyal man that you can possibly come in contact with.
You see how he flipped the thing? Because you exaggerate now, right? We talking about men, high value men. Now you talking about some guy that works at Dollar Tree. Well, let me not say where they work at. Works somewhere not getting probably paid well, comes home, flips a tab on a beer and smokes a bowl of weed. Come on, bro. Like you being disingenuous. Like when the path he's going down, it's why some of this red pill stuff I'm just not for. Like I don't get it. I don't understand how it's gonna further, the society. I don't know how it's gonna make anything better. Right? I just don't get the purpose of some of it. And I get the purpose of it because I know his talking points is what's getting him more, views and getting, younger people, and like they want to hear that, and men, especially teens, 20s, they love to hear this type of stuff, right? Because this is when you're in your prime, you out there going, you might not be going after things, but you're going after women for sure, right? Which I would have a disagreement with that, but if I was to do it over or teach about it, but yeah.
Because he stood in front of people and made vows to take care of her, provide for her, and create an amazing life for her. And he came home and popped open a Bud Light. That's not loyalty.
No, I agree with you. I do. Like, I always say I think cheating is different for men and for women. I always say I would leave someone if they cheated unless we had kids, because if you have kids, it's not about you anymore. But I just think it's cool. Like, I just respect my dad a lot for having the option to do what he does and still choosing to remain loyal to my mom. And I know the red pill will say forever, oh, he's cheating. But I don't know. My dad is just, I respect him a lot, and I think it's really cool that he does that.
I think there's a good chance that there's a relationship that your mother and your father have between.
See, here we go. Speculation. He gonna go down this path of, I don't think you know everything. Like, you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. It's the same thing, like, I always shout out, or I always, speak about, because I don't agree with LeBron James on a lot of social topics. But as far as what he puts out into the atmosphere, as far as with his family, how his friends, right? Those things, he's a prime example of a man, right? He's a prime example of what I would want my son, or I want other young men to attain, right? Just because, you know, he's successful, he's a good father, he's a good husband from what I know, right? I don't know everything, we don't know ins and outs of anything, but I would never put it on him because he's just never that involved in anything that I would, you know, say that he would get messy, that would, you know, would mess that up. And it's about putting himself in a position. So, and there's a few people like that. Denzel Washington, nobody ever accused Denzel Washington of doing that. Another black man that does, you know, that we would say was a good husband. So it's a lot of people like that, right? It's a lot of them, right? We only hear about the bad ones because, you know, we love bad news. We love to hear about, you know, deceitful, you know, stuff like that. But here he gonna go down this path
that you'll never know about. I'm not saying he's cheating, but
he's not saying he's cheating, but he's gonna put this in your head that you don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. Like, why you do that? That doesn't push your argument anywhere. All it does is just, like, it doesn't help his part, what he's trying to say, right? It doesn't help it by you tearing somebody else down. You think it's building you up, and this is exactly what a hater does. But you know, I don't know exactly what he does.
he did cheat. He's a damn good man from hiding it from all of you, so he can continue to paint that picture of reality. Now, me, I'm not going to do that because I would rather live in truth. But if, you know how they say if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, did it happen? Maybe that zeitgeist, that group of men in that age range, that was their strategy. Now that we're in 2022, the strategy, I think that it makes you the best man, shows the most character, is to just tell the truth. Tell the truth and don't embarrass your woman.
I agree with you, but I just don't like the argument that, like,
because it doesn't feel good to you.
No, it's not that it doesn't feel good. It's that you'll believe what you believe regardless of any evidence to the contrary. So if the evidence says that 1 out of 4 men cheat, you'll say, oh, they all cheat.
I would argue.
And it's like, and if I say, no, my dad doesn't cheat, he doesn't do that, you say, well, he probably has an arrangement with your mom behind the scenes. Because that's your worldview.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a chance.
You see, you are saying that. That's exactly what you said. If you listening to this, right, and you on his side, he says that, and you're like, see? He's right. You don't know. But you can't assume that off of something that you know nothing about, right? And that would be an assuming that now you're going down a path of, like, nobody can be loyal, nobody can stay with their woman, nobody can not change. There's plenty of men that aren't, like, after, you know, women all the time, bro. I was not, when I was younger, that's all we thought about, right? But there's plenty of men, right, that don't grow up, you know, sexualizing about women all the time. There's plenty of men that do that, right? And I believe that I've seen them. I know some people like that they don't think about that all the time. Then there's a lot of men that all they think about is that, right? But there is people out there. So when you put that out there, you're trying to say, like, no, they're all like that. No, it's not true.
You just implied that, which is fine. Like, I understand that's your worldview, but I just grew up around, like, I would say, like, the men of value versus high value men, which is just, like, the type of men that kind of get their money, get their woman, go buy a piece of land and don't want to talk to anybody. And it's just a very different, like, world than the, like, one that you guys live in. And that's partially what brought me into the red pill, because I was like, this is what you think high value men are like.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm arguing.
Yeah.
Because you're putting certain life choices with value as a person. And I'm simply saying what created value in his time and certainly in your life, because obviously you've turned out very, very well. Him being valuable in that time and him having that good impact on you is incredible. I'm just simply arguing that a man that in 2022 that tells the truth, takes care of his business, takes care of his family, shows up for his wife in the most important ways, providing, truly loving her, making sure that her life is a fucking carpet ride, and then loving the fuck out of the kids and supporting and doing the right thing that a man should do, because a man does have the burden of performance. And I put that burden of performance right there in the loyalty spot, in the turning up for your family. That is a good man. Not whether you had sex with another woman or whatever. It's...
See? And this is why this red pill shit, it reminds me of the, you know, like, I remember, you know, I was hanging out in the streets, but, you know, you go to college or you see these other kids, like, you know, same age, but they doing something different. And the whole thing would be like, to get women. So they would pull all sorts of stunts. You had people that would, talk shit to women, right, to get them. You had people that would, talk, even if they were beautiful, talk crap about them, right, just treat them disrespectfully, and hopefully, they would, some girls would attract to that, some girls wouldn't. And this is what this reminds me of. Is like you put this out there and then you get, women to believe. It's almost like a pimp. Right, a pimp would do the same thing. Right, a pimp is somebody who disrespects the woman, tells them that they loyal, tells them that this is sells them game. Right, sell them game, get them to do what you want them to do, and then that's how you just keep pimping them. Right, and that's kind of like how some of these red pill people come off to me, man. It's just really weird.
Lying, it's the deceit that hurts so badly, and the reason that women are unhappy is because the formula for happiness is the gap between expectation and reality.
Yeah.
Your father gave that to your mother. That's what made him a good man. For me, I would rather not lie because the world has changed since your father was a father.
See, he says, I would rather not lie. So you would rather not lie is assuming that her father's lying. Right? It's just, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you saying, I would rather not lie, right? That means your father was lying, so I would rather not lie about it. Come on, bro. Like, you sound crazy.
And from when I will be a father, so I'm going to be brave enough, bold enough to love and be impactful.
See, brave and bold enough to love. He's narcissist. He's probably narcissist. Like, he has to be.
Enough to tell the truth, and you can leave if you want. But if you leave me for a man you love less, when I told you the truth, you have to respect that I tell you the truth. And then I back up what I said. And that loyalty is producing, performing, providing, and being who you say you are.
What's good, everybody?